if someone observed you for the next 30 days, would they know what your goals are based on your habits? That's a question that I've been pondering over the last week, and join me on this short walk here in the Scottish outdoors just at the beginning of spring while we explore what that question means and what you can do about it. So I was at a training event last week in London. It was run by two people that everybody in the room knew quite well. And the people in the room were all other leaders at work, founders, vast amount of experience in the room, but also we all came from very, very different backgrounds, serving different industries, different company sizes. And yet despite those differences, we all felt we're facing very, very similar challenges, which are all around where do we lead ourselves, where do we lead our businesses and companies, and how do we integrate what we want to do with the lived experience of being dads and family men and people with their own personal dreams and aspirations. And part of the training, we were presented with one slide that had this question on it, which was to say the two people leading the training, if they were to be with us for 30 days straight and observed every behavior that we were displaying. So every email we were sending, every meeting we were having, every bit of doom scrolling and sitting around and whatever we were doing, if they were to observe just the behaviors and not know what our goals are, could they tell based on our behaviors what our goals really were? Where were we leading ourselves to and our businesses? For me, that question really hit hard because I've been thinking a lot about the disconnect and the gap between our goals that we are portraying or that we're writing down and maybe people know about them, but then actually what are we doing to reach those goals? Because there's often enough, it is so easy to find excuses to not achieve the goals, right? There's excuses for work emergencies, family emergencies, or things are changing, and it's easy to drop those goals. But sometimes maybe we are choosing the easy way and the easy route out. And one of them is, are we actually doing what we need to be doing to achieve where we want to go? Or do we let that self-discipline fall by the wayside, and then what we want to lead ourselves into just gets dropped? And that's quite a hard-hitting truth that I felt, and I could see the people in the room were also wrestling with that idea. Okay then, so what are we supposed to do with this perceived gap between where we want to go and where we're actually going? What I've done is over the last week, I've really did a deep dive in my calendar. The way I use my calendar is I time block everything. So whether that's work, family time, time with friends, whatever I've got, busy schedule, but I make sure that I protect the times for the things that are important and the things that I need to get done. So I took a screenshot of my combined calendar, which has everything in it, for the first 8 weeks of the year. What actually happened? I then fed that into an AI tool and just said, look, take this and let's make sure we fill in all the gaps. So where possible, I was then looking at, where times maybe I didn't note on a meeting or time that I was working on a project or whatever else it might be, to get as detailed of a picture and as true of a picture of the last 8 weeks that I could really get. And then I said to the AI, look, given what I'm doing here, can you tell me what are the goals that I'm working on? And it fed that back to me, and it was interesting because there's definitely a gap between where I thought I was getting to and where I was getting to based on that. So knowing this gap now, let's just assume the rest of the year is going to go the exact same way. So let's assume the first 8 weeks of the year they were just going to be repeated until the end of the year. And where do I end up? Where will I be if the rest of the year is exactly like that? And what are the goals that I might be achieving? And what is the time that I have available? Give me a breakdown of that. I want to understand how much time do I spend in meetings, on emails, doing deep work, with family, on exercise and fitness. Just tell me, what will it be? And that one was way harder, because looking back, you can make excuses, but looking forward and realizing that where you want to go is not going to be where you are going unless you make changes. That is something that really needed or deserved my attention, to plan ahead. And then the third thing I did then with the tool was to say, well, okay, so I'm giving you now my goals. These are the things I want to achieve. These are the work priorities that I have. These are the time priorities that I have. This is what I want to do with my life. This is what I want to do with my family. So date nights with the wife, one-to-one time with the kids, fitness, all of these things. I put them all in. And I said, given that you now know how I want to spend my time and what my goals actually are, design the calendar, the next week or next month. What does it need to look like? Design that for me so that I'm actually going to meet those goals. And that one was an eye-opener, again, to realize, hang on, there's such a gap between some of the goals that I have and how I'm actually spending my time. So I would invite you to do the same. So analyze what you're doing, look back, fill in those gaps, work on understanding where the gap is between what you're doing and where you want to go, and then design a new way of operating that helps you actually get to the goals that you are proclaiming are so important to you. The other thing that could happen within this work is that you're realizing that some goals might be unattainable, or the time that they require isn't worth it. And in any case, that's a good thing. Maybe you do it later, maybe you drop the goal entirely, maybe you delegate it, whatever it might be. But rather than wishing for this year to go the way that you want it to go, you take back control. And that's a massive, massive win in any case. So if that was useful to you, I'd like you to subscribe and follow along for more of this. But actually, most importantly, it would be great to have in the comments what you've done with this, if this was useful. Are you doing a time audit, and what did you find out? Anyway, see you at the next one.